Alright, I'm back again with another collection video, this time talking about games that I've played recently. I'll start doing this once a month from now on, where I discuss some of the latest games that I've played. None of these are new games, like these are all older games, but for me, these have been new experiences lately. I've been playing a lot of PS4 games lately because I took my PS4 with me to the nearby town where I work currently. So I only spend weekends at my own apartment, and so I don't have time to play PS5 games at all at the moment. So I've been playing PS4 games, just grinding them. So I have 7 here, and this is not everything that I've played in the last month or so. Even these are just games that I want to talk about. So let's start off with Cotton. I played both Cotton Reboot, Fantastic Night Dreams, and Cotton Fantasy Superlative Night Dreams. So this one is a remake of the original game, I think, or at least one of the original games in the series. It has both the old school version and then a newer remix of it with modern graphics. The original game is much harder than the new one. I got through both of them on first try, and these aren't that difficult when it comes to shoot 'em up games. These are quite simple. I've never thought that Cotton was. It's a fun series, but it's not a very challenging series. It's more about the feels and the characters and that sort of thing. So yeah, the original is somewhat more challenging than the original, but I still got through it on first try. Very simple, very short, as you can expect from a Cotton game. But then the remake of the game, or the remix of the game, however you want to call it, that was much easier. There is new mechanics, there's more firepower. I just blasted through that on first try without almost getting hit once. So it's a fun game, but kind of basic as well. Then I also played this one, which is a new game in the series, one of the, if not the latest, one of the latest ones, Cotton Fantasy. So this is not a reboot or a remake of it or anything like that. It's just a standalone new game. Pretty fun, has a lot of different characters, as you can see there. Also characters from some other series, like the Umehara Kawase series. All the characters play a bit differently from one another. They have special moves and stuff, but in the end, it's kind of, it doesn't really matter which one you pick. It's all about preference. Yeah, it's another short shoot 'em up. I think I prefer this one over the reboot, but it's pretty close. These are both around let's say 7 out of 10 shoot 'em ups or cute 'em ups. That's what they are often called because of the cutesy graphics and character designs. But yeah, these are deep cuts from the shoot 'em up genre, the Cotton series. It's pretty popular, but not the most popular, and yeah, only for people who are really into shoot 'em ups, really. Then I played a couple of FMV games. I'll start off with the bad one. So I played American Hero, released by Limited Run Games. And this is a really bad game. Wow, so bad. It is kind of interesting that they did release this, because this game was never released back in a day. It's an incomplete FMV game that was cancelled during production. So this is not a complete game. It's just a garbled mess of all the materials that were filmed, just compiled into this one messy game that kind of makes sense at sometimes, but often doesn't really make any sense. And yeah, they also got the actor Timothy Bottoms, who's a proper Hollywood actor. That's one of the good parts about this game, is that it has proper actors in it. This isn't their greatest hour by any means, but they are trying their best with awful material. Yeah, they got Timothy Bottoms to record some new voice lines, so there is some new content here that was created for this release. The plot doesn't really make any sense. It's ridiculous. It's your typical 80s action movie nonsense. It says on the back over the top 90s Hollywood movies, but it's more like an 80s movie. It has a distinct 80s feel to it. Just look at this character here in front, the female stripper with the sunglasses and the latex clothing. Like that's so 80s, and the whole vibe of the game is like 80s in my mind. But yeah, 3 out of 10. Awful game. Wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Then on the other hand, a positive surprise. I didn't expect much out of this one. Who Pressed Mute on Uncle Marcus? Another FMV game released by Limited Run Games. This is one of those Wales interactive games. They've released many of these. And like I said, this was a positive surprise. This is one of the better ones, if not the best one I've played from Wales Interactive. Their games have usually been a little bit of a disappointment. In the last year, I've played Nightbook, which I didn't really like at all. I also played I Saw Black Clouds, which was kind of okay at times. And yeah, previously I've played Late Shift, which was okay. The Complex was kind of okay. So usually these aren't really that impressive, but I really enjoyed my time with this one. It's like a whodunit murder mystery. Filmed during the pandemic. Everyone is in their own apartments, recording on like seemingly a webcam setup. And it's a family reunion type of thing. One of the characters has a birthday, and all the other people are there on a call for the birthday party. But one of the people has been poisoned, and you have to figure out who is the murderer who poisoned Uncle Marcus, who is I can't remember the name of the actor, but he was in the television series Office, The Office. There are also some other notable faces here. This person was in one of the other FMV games, 5 Dates, and there are also some other faces here that you probably recognize. The gameplay was pretty fun. You talk to these characters individually, and you work in pairs. There's this quiz for the birthday and everything. And the writing is pretty funny, actually. It's really inappropriate at times, but kind of funny. And they really nailed the just dysfunctional, broken family feel. Everyone hates everyone and has dirt on other people, right? And you play this game over and over and over again. You collect clues, and the clues carry over to the next playthrough. And like in other Wales Interactive games, you can skip scenes that you've seen before. So playing the game over and over again gets quicker and quicker and quicker the more you play it. And yeah, 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. I was really positively surprised by this one. The storyline is pretty like typical, almost to a comedic sense, but definitely for anyone who's into FMV games, I would suggest trying this out if you like murder mysteries and just dumb fun games. Next up, a horror title. I played Carrion by Phobia Game Studios. This game was very highly hyped and also pretty well received when it was released. It's a Metroidvania where you control a tentacle monster and you try to escape a laboratory containment area. The gameplay works pretty well. The controls are kind of wonky at times because the bigger your character grows, the more tentacles you have. And it gets kind of ridiculous to maneuver at times with so many tentacles and getting stuck against walls and everything. But for the most part, the controls were surprisingly good. The gameplay is very simple, and the game is very easy as well. So I was kind of disappointed by how easy the game was. The humans are extremely weak opponents. You can kill pretty much everyone in one hit. And even the more difficult opponents, they have a very easy pattern to recognize and to learn, so you can exploit their patterns quite easily and get the kills. One of the weak points of this game is the level design, because it's very confusing. You are a tentacle monster, so you don't have a map. So this is a Metroidvania designed in very much the similar vein as something like the old school Metroid, Super Metroid, for example, where you have this like square-based map, but you don't have the map to look at because you're a tentacle monster. You can't read a map, so you have to go around blindly and try to remember all the different places you went to. There's quite a bit of backtracking if you want to unlock everything, and I got lost multiple times. It was very difficult to find some of the early areas and figure out how to get back to those places. But yeah, Carrion, I really like the idea of controlling the monster in this kind of scenario, and it was very, very entertaining. Lots of callbacks or lots of references to horror movies as well. So if you're into that sort of thing, you can find some funny Easter eggs and stuff. But yeah, Carrion, like a 7.5, 8 out of 10. Metroidvania. Definitely would recommend it to people who like Metroidvanias and are looking for new ones to play and haven't checked it out yet. Right. Next up, I played Yuppie Psycho, and this is the Executive Edition, which has DLC. I think the DLC was free download on a PC. It's on disc here, so everything is on disc, which is very nice. And the DLC adds new side missions and new endings and all kinds of stuff. So definitely worth checking out if you played the original game and not the executive content. I think it's worth checking out. It adds a lot of character to the game. Many of the funniest side characters get some more screen time with the added content. Now, this is a pixel graphics horror game by the people who made the Count Lucanor. I really liked Count Lucanor a lot. This game is even better. It's much bigger, and in terms of length, it's more than twice as long as the Count Lucanor. And the storyline follows this young guy who goes to a job interview that he got. He didn't even think he would ever get it, but he got a job interview at this very famous company. And he doesn't even know what position for, and he just goes into the building and tries to find out. And as you can see from the cover, there's just crazy stuff going on at the company, and you are quickly pulled into this mystery that you have to solve within the company. What is even happening at the company? Why are people going insane and dying, and all of this stuff? The storyline is very well written, very narrative heavy for this type of horror game. It goes into very strange places very quickly, and I was extremely intrigued by the storyline and finished the whole game in a couple of sessions. The gameplay is somewhat similar to Count Lucanor. You mostly just walk around, pick up items, and try to figure out which items to use in which places. There's a lot of choices as well, so you can do you can do things that affect what happens later on, and you can miss out on some items that you would need to reach some endings and so on. So there's a lot of replay value here as well. Definitely something I would recommend to anyone who's into horror games, just in general, or these pixelated, kind of like anime style games. This is not an anime game, but the character designs are very, very familiar to that sort of thing. I read online that this game used to be very buggy. I didn't have any problems with it, really. The game did crash a couple of times, but I didn't lose any progress because of it. So it seems like they've fixed most of the bugs, at least. I didn't have anything game-breaking like some other people had on the PC when the game was first released. So yeah, Yuppie Psycho, I will give it a strong 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed my time with that one. And I'll end with the absolute best experience I've had in a long, long, long time. I played through Dusk which is a boomer shooter FPS game, very much inspired by old school FPS games where you can bunny hop around, get ridiculous speeds, and just flick shot everything. You have rocket jumps and all the good stuff from way back in the day. The game is basically a Lovecraftian horror story, but it's a collection of different horror movies. There's parts of it are like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You have parts which are clearly inspired by H.P. Lovecraft. You have parts that are inspired by just multiple different horror franchises and horror movies and horror writers. I don't want to spoil anything. The level designs are extremely good. Like really, really fun levels to go through. Most of them are quite short, but it's not a problem because there's many secrets to find. And the secrets are really fun to look for in this game. Usually, like in something like Doom, the original Doom, I don't even care about the secrets really. You just happen to find some of them if you do. But I think the secrets here are very fun to look for, and they remind me a bit of something like Duke Nukem 3D, where it is quite obvious where they are, but you don't always know how to get there, and you have to find these weird routes to get to the secrets. And yeah, very enjoyable. The gameplay itself is really, really good. The controls on the PS4 are fantastic. Obviously, the game is probably better on the PC because you have a mouse and keyboard, but for the PS4, the controls are really good. You have a lot of options to choose from to make the game feel how you want it to feel with the auto aim and everything. You can turn everything off. You can use a ridiculous amount of aimbot. And the overall atmosphere of the game is fantastic. It is a horror game, essentially, but just happens to be an FPS as well. And the voice acting is great, especially the cultists who call you a heretic constantly. The sound design, the music. The music is clearly inspired by the modern Doom games, Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. It has this heavy distorted guitar soundtrack. It's really good. And the campaign is also very, very long. There's 3 campaigns, all have around 10 levels and some secret levels as well, some boss fights. So there's a lot of content here. The game was, as far as I know, mostly designed by one person, which is very commendable. There's so much content, so many different weapons, clearly a lot of love put into this game. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed my time with this one. So I'll give this one a strong 9 out of 10 as well. Maybe if I replay it at some point, maybe even a 10 out of 10. It's that good of an FPS title. Right. So that's some of the games that I've been playing recently and that I've completed recently. So hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in a couple of days.